Hello, my name's Callie and I'm 32 years old. I just got rid of my toxic husband, and it's all thanks to my aunt who was there at the scene to catch him in the act of something horrible. But let me start right from the beginning. I met my husband, Alex, through work. We were working at separate companies, but our companies were collaborating for some event, and we ended up working together. Alex was a very charming man. He knew just what to say, and all of that just made me fall in love with him. We went on a few dates after we were done working on our project together, and those few dates quickly turned into a 3-year-long relationship. We moved in together after about a year and a half of dating. We were very compatible. We shared a lot of the same values and beliefs. We barely had any fights, and we were great with communication. He literally was the perfect man for me. He proposed to me on our 3rd anniversary, and we got married after about 7 months. Our first year of marriage went pretty beautifully. It remained the same as it had always been. I was happy and completely satisfied with myself and my marriage. But then things started to change around the 2nd year. Alex began to distance himself from me. I had no idea what was happening. I tried to talk to him on multiple occasions, but he refused to even acknowledge that he was behaving differently. I remember being really panicky at first. I was sure that he was planning to leave me because I did something horrifying to him. So for the next few weeks, I was on constant guard of everything I was doing because I didn't want him to feel like I was giving him more reason to leave. But Alex constantly reassured me that I had nothing to worry about because he was not leaving me. And then came the news that Alex would need to travel for work pretty frequently. I was upset about it, but I also knew that Alex had been working very hard for a promotion at work. After he got that promotion, we were going to start trying for a child. So I kept my mouth shut about my feelings. Traveling only made our marriage worse. If Alex was aloof before, now he just ignored me completely. Having him at home made me uncomfortable because I never knew what had ticked him off. He barely ever responded to me, and he never acknowledged my presence. If I tried to talk to him, he would either give me one-word replies or he would snap at me. I hated talking to him. And for a brief period, I considered leaving him for my own mental stability. But I knew that it wasn't something I could do because I loved him too much, and I promised to be with him through good and bad times. So I waited for around 4 months until one day, for the first time in a long time, Alex approached me after dinner. "Callie, can we talk?" "Yes, of course, darling. What's going on?" "So you know how I've been kind of crappy husband these past few months." "I wouldn't say that you've been crappy, just a little distant." "That's pretty crappy, wouldn't you agree?" "I just didn't want to hurt your feelings, okay? Anyways, what about it? Are you finally ready to talk about it?" "Yeah. I've just been struggling with a lot of things at work, and I was unintentionally and wrongfully taking out my frustrations on you. I didn't mean to do that. I'm so sorry." "Oh no, I completely get that. I kind of figured that that was the case. No need to apologize." "I know, but still, I feel bad." "Next time, why don't you just talk to me about it? That might even make you feel better. No need to feel bad, though." "I will try my best to talk to you about it. You know how hard it is for me to express my feelings and thoughts, which is why I never really approached you about it, but I think I found the perfect way to make it up to you." "You did?" "Well, you mentioned several times that you've always wanted to go to Hawaii, so I bought you a ticket there and arranged for you to have the time of your life for the next 6 days." "What? Oh my God, are you serious? But what about my work?" "Don't worry about that. I already arranged for you to have the next 2 weeks off." "Oh, this is amazing, Alex. Why aren't you coming, though?" "I couldn't get days off, but I know that you've always wanted to go on a solo trip, so here you go." "This is amazing, Alex." "I'm counting on that, seriously. Thank you for dealing with me these past few months." "Nonsense. I'm your wife. If I don't stick by you at your worst, who will?" Besides, you made up for it in the best way possible. I was genuinely so excited for the trip. I had been asking Alex to go on a long vacation with me since our honeymoon, and he had refused every single time. He was not a traveling kind of man, and I love to travel. He'd rather sit at a resort and watch TV than go out into the town and explore. So for him to get me an all-expense-paid trip where I got to explore as much as I could was a big deal. It showed me that he really cared for me and listened to what I said. I know a lot of people would take this gift as something superficial, but you have to understand that Alex was not rich in any way. This trip took him months of saving, which was why I was so grateful for the apology. Anyway, the days leading up to the trip were just as amazing. I had gotten the Alex I loved back, and our marriage was back to being healthy. That made going on the trip so much easier because that wasn't something I had to worry about. When I reached Hawaii, I was escorted to my resort, and let me tell you, I had the time of my life for the next 3 days. I wasted no time going to all the popular places and eating street food and going shopping for a bit. I also spent a good portion of my day just sitting by the beach, reading my novel and relaxing out in the sun. The sleep that I got on the first 2 nights because of pure exhaustion was truly some of the best night's sleep of my life. On my 3rd day of the trip, I decided that I wanted to take it easy that day. So I stayed in my room, ordered room service, and watched TV. Thankfully, the hotel TV had the ability to use Netflix, so I watched a few episodes of my favorite shows. It was around evening time when I got a call from my Aunt Emily. Aunt Emily and I are close because she was the one who practically raised me after my mom passed away. She was a motherly figure to me, but as I grew up, I began to see her less frequently because we were both consumed by our jobs. Aunt Emily worked as a nurse at a pretty big hospital in our city, so her timings were always bizarre, which was why we barely got to keep in contact. However, we did make it a point to call each other once a week during the weekends. So to get a call from her in the middle of the week was kind of weird. Nonetheless, I picked the call up with enthusiasm because I was going to tell her about my trip and she was going to be happy for me. Hey, Aunt Em, what's going on? Where are you, Callie? I'm in this fancy resort in Hawaii. What? What are you doing there? Oh, you're not going to believe this, but Alex surprised me with the most wonderful trip for me to take. He surprised you with a trip out of the blue? Well, I've been talking about going to Hawaii for a while, but he was never too keen on it. But he decided to surprise me with a trip so I could have fun without him being a sourpuss. I think that was a ruse he created to get you away from home. Why would you even say that? Tell me honestly, how has your marriage been in the past few months? Well, we've been having a bit of a rough patch. I don't know what was happening. We just were not getting along. Did he go on any business trips? Yes, a few months ago he had more responsibilities handed to him, and one of them included traveling to get more clients, so he's been regularly traveling every other week. I think he's definitely making a fool out of you, sweetie. Why are you saying that? What's going on? I got handed a file of a patient who came in to get an abortion. When I went to check on the patient, she was sitting there with your husband. He was holding her and giving her forehead kisses and kept reassuring her that he'd be there for her. What are you saying? Of course, I don't think he recognized me. He was way too focused on this girl. Also, I slipped out before he really saw me. I gave the case to another nurse and walked away. I just wanted to let you know that he was here with another woman. I don't even know how to respond. He cheated on me and got another woman pregnant? I think it's best that you come back home and confront him about it. You deserve better than this scumbag. Yeah, but I don't know if I have the money to not live in the house with him. Lord knows I'll not be able to look him in the eyes. You don't have to worry about that. I'll be there for you. As soon as you land, come over to my place. We'll sort through things together, okay? Thanks, Aunt Em. I really don't know what I would have done if you didn't have my back. I think I was too numb to actually process what Aunt Em said. I remember packing up my bags in a haze. I got to the airport and took the first flight back home. I don't even remember the journey because the next thing I knew, the plane was landing and I was being told to get off. It was then that I actually noticed the pile of tissues I had around me during the flight. I knew I must have looked like a wreck. My pain got to me so much that I wasn't even aware that I had been sobbing for so long. Once I got out of the airport, I took a cab to my aunt's place. On the entire ride there, I was a crying mess too. I couldn't believe that Alex could be capable of being so cruel to not only me but to another woman. A part of me felt too embarrassed to even show my face to my aunt, because now she was privy to all the inside ugliness of Alex and my marriage. But I knew that if there was anyone that I could trust about this, it was her. When I showed up at my aunt's door, I looked like an absolute mess, but Aunt Em welcomed me warmly. "Oh, sweetie, welcome back. I've been crying the whole way back home. I don't know what to do anymore. Why don't we get you settled in first of all? I just don't know why he would go so far as to cheat on me to begin with. I have never not given him my all." "You did mention that you were having a rough few months, right?" "Yeah, I mean, we were clashing on a lot of things, but I thought it was only because he was stressed out about work. He had been working really hard to get himself a promotion at his job. I mean, we were thinking about starting a family, which was why he was working so hard to begin with." "Ugh, men can be such dogs sometimes. I'm sorry that you have to go through this." "Why? I just want to know why. You have no idea how happy I was that Alex bought me tickets to my own solo vacation. I thought that was him apologizing for the past few months. But for him to plan that as a way for me to be away from home was cruel." "I fully agree. That's a whole new level of disgust. But as much as I want you to sit and fully process all your emotions, you need to do something about this. I mean, as tragic as all of this is, you need to put Alex in his place for even putting you in this position and through all this heartbreak. Maybe you'll feel better then." "You know what? You're right. I need to confront him in the best way. I won't let him gaslight me in any way. I want to catch him in the act. I have the patient's name if you want. I couldn't give you her address, but I'm sure you can figure out how to find her place. I heard that he'd been spending time with her until you come back." "Of course. Just give me the name. I know just how to find where she lives." Aunt Em told me the girl's name was Molly. Now, it didn't take long for me to find out her address because I had access to Alex's Gmail, which meant that I could look through his locations in the past few days, and I was able to find the house that he had been staying at and frequenting over the past couple of months. The more I looked into his whereabouts, the more I realized that his bad mood started just around when he actually started cheating on me. Was he in a bad mood because he was cheating, or was he cheating on me because he was in a bad mood? That was all I could think about. Eventually, Aunt Em helped me pluck up the courage to go over to Molly's place and talk to her and confront Alex as well. The entire drive to Molly's place, which was only 20 minutes away from my place and 30 minutes from my aunt's, I was a nervous wreck. My palms were sweaty and I even considered bailing on the plan altogether, but I knew I needed to do this for my sanity and to preserve my dignity. I walked over to Molly's door and knocked on it. When she opened the door, I was surprised to see how young she was. She looked to be in her early 20s, and that only made me more disgusted with Alex, who was in his early 30s. "Hello?" "Hi, who are you?" "Wow, you're really young." Thanks. Who are you?" "If you're here to sell something, I'm not interested." No, I'm here to collect my trash." "Your trash? Are you on drugs? What are you saying?" I'm not under any influence. I came here to talk about my disgusting excuse of a husband. Oh no. You're Callie? Yes, and before you lie and tell me he's not here, I saw his car in your parking spot. Just get him here and let me talk to him. And what if I don't? I know you come from a very conservative family. If you don't let me talk to him, I will tell them about your abortion. Oh my God, you're insane. Why would you endanger my life like that? Why would you destroy my marriage by getting into a relationship with a man you knew was married? It's not my fault that you're a boring old hag that can't satisfy her husband. I was able to do that, and I love your husband. Well, I loved my husband before you. You had no right to sleep with him when you knew that he was already married. Hey, I didn't even make the first move. He was the one that approached me at the club. I just went along with it. And before I knew it, I was deeply in love with him. You know what? You're just as much a victim of his charms as I am. Did you even want the abortion? No, I wanted to have his child, but he practically forced me. He told me he'd leave me if I didn't abort the baby. Right. And how are you not angry with him? How could he force you to do something so horrific? But I love him. You're so young, Molly. You deserve so much better. You can do so much better than Alex. Now, could you please let me have a word with him? Sure. Come on in. I was glad that I was able to get through to Molly. It genuinely hurt me to hear that she wanted to have the child, and Alex coerced her to take away the child. I was already fuming, and hearing that only fanned the flames of anger even higher. When I walked into her apartment, I was greeted by Alex sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone. He barely looked up at first, but trailed off when he saw who was actually standing there. Who was that, honey? Oh, Callie? Hi, Alex. What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in Hawaii right now? I decided to come back early. Why? Do you even know how much money I spent on that trip for you? Apparently you're made of money right now. You paid for a whole trip for me and an abortion for your secret girlfriend. What are you talking about? Don't even try to play any games with me. Look, whatever happened was an accident. No, it wasn't. I told you over and over again that we needed to be careful, but you never listened to me. In fact, you even forced me to get off of birth control. Molly, this isn't your place to be starting an argument. This is between my wife and I. What wife? I came here to tell you that I'm leaving you. Leaving me? I didn't even do anything. I promise you that this was only a moment of weakness. I'm sure we can move past this. You're a disgusting person. Not only did you literally sleep with someone who's at best a decade younger than you, but you forced her to get pregnant, and then you made her abort that baby. You also lied to me and tricked me into thinking that you actually cared for me. I did not trick or lie to you. I just didn't want you to deal with my mistake. You always tell me that I need to be responsible for my mistakes, and I was just correcting them. Don't try and twist what I asked you to do into this situation. I called your job and they told me that you had not been given any duty to travel. So all those days that you were gone were just an excuse for you to cheat on me. That's disgusting. Why would you do that? Because you would have never told me yourself. I was so busy trying to figure out what was wrong with us, but you could not be bothered in the least. You were cheating on me with a very young woman instead. Please, please don't leave me. I'm nothing without you. I promise I'll be a better man and husband to you. That ship has long since sailed. Anyway, I contacted your company and told them about what you've been doing, and they did not like that you were lying, not to mention how you had been slacking off at work. So they've decided to let you go. What? I think that's appropriate punishment for what you've done to me and Molly. Where will I go? What will I do? Why would you do something this cruel? Why would you do something so cruel to us? You deserve this and so much more. I will see you next, only if you have a lawyer. I don't want to be with you anymore. Good luck. Seeing the absolute shock of his life unfolding before him was nothing short of the best thing that has ever happened to me. Alex and his family gave me a lot of crap for breaking up with Alex that way. I got a lot of texts and calls telling me I was a jerk and I did something extremely horrible to Alex. I don't see it that way. I only see it as me giving back to Alex what he robbed from me. I was only giving him a taste of his own medicine. It's been about 5 months since all of that happened, and I can tell you that I am now happily divorced. Life was really hard to adjust to at first because I had been so used to Alex being around that when he wasn't there, I felt so lonely. But it didn't take too long for me to come to terms with the fact that Alex was not a good man, which was why he was never returning back. I'm slowly starting to get better, and I'll be going on a girls' trip with my aunt to a European country of her choosing next month. If it wasn't for her, I would have still been in a crappy relationship with Alex. So this trip will serve as a big thank you gift to her. As for Alex, I don't have much idea about what he's up to. Apparently he went crawling back to Molly after I had asked for a divorce, but she kicked him out because she realized that he was not a good person for her. Alex had nowhere else to go, and he was fired from his job, so he moved back to his home state, where he now lives with his parents in their basement. As far as I know, he hasn't been able to get a job yet. Things are going well for now, and I can only imagine that they'll get better from here on out. Thank you for listening.